the kind of weapon that has the capability to send this very warship to the bottom of the ocean.
Iran has built the largest ballistic missile arsenal in the Middle East. Many launch sites are hidden in underground missile cities carved into mountains. Others are mobile, designed to fire and relocate before being detected. Iran caps most missile ranges at around 2,000 kilometers, just enough to cover Israel and U.S. bases across the region. And while Israeli air defenses intercept many incoming threats, even a few successful strikes can have strategic impact. So which missiles matter most? Let's break down the top 5 systems capable of reaching Israel quickly. The Khorramshahr 4 is one of Iran's heaviest hitters. Designed for high-impact strikes, it can carry massive payloads and reach Israel from deep inside Iranian territory. Iran's most controversial missile is the Fatah-1. Iran claims it can evade missile defenses using hypersonic speeds and maneuvering re-entry paths, though analysts debate how advanced it really is. The Sejil represents Iran's shift to solid-fuel missiles. Because it doesn't require fueling before launch, it can fire quickly, making preemptive strikes much harder. The Khaibar Shakan is part of Iran's newer generation of precision missiles. Its ability to zigzag through the atmosphere complicates tracking and interception. The Emad is an upgraded version of the Shahab 3. Unlike older ballistic missiles, it's designed to hit specific targets, not just cities. During missile exchanges in 2024 and 2025, ballistic missiles launched toward Israel arrived within roughly that predicted window, often under 12 minutes. Most were intercepted by Israel's multi-layered defenses: Arrow, David Sling, Iron Dome, and U.S. support systems. But some did get through. And in modern warfare, even a handful of successful strikes can reshape the battlefield and the politics that follow. As nuclear negotiations continue, the shadow of missile warfare hangs over the region, because diplomacy may move slowly, but ballistic missiles do not. And in a future crisis, the difference between peace and escalation could be measured not in days or hours, but in minutes.
Kalala Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahushai Bahashem, Rahak Wadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel. Blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing this word in all sincerity and in honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel Barakatah. Today's lesson, the power of the Carmanians. Now, when it comes to the Iranians, aka the Carmanians, the scripture has said that with great power shall they come. And that's all you're hearing right now upon the news. We pay close attention to the news and match them up with biblical prophecy. But when it comes to the Iranians, they should not be underestimated, just like you saw in the video, because they have an enormous arsenal at their disposal. They have very sophisticated and accurate theater ballistic missiles with a range of 1,200 miles, and they also have those tactical ballistic missiles, the TBMs. They also possess cruise missiles, unmanned systems, and drones. And those Iranian drones are also accurate as ballistic missiles and can fly at lower altitudes to evade radar. So in a time of war, the scriptures have said that with great power shall they come. With that being said, let's go over to 2 Esdras 15 and 30. Here we have that scripture, 2 Esdras 15 and 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. The Carmanians represents the Iranian wild boars of Iran. They shall be in the same mentality of a wild boar in a time of war. The Iranians of today are the Persians, and it is prophesied that they shall come with great power. So no longer can the smaller nations be bullied, because they have officially leveled the playing field in the possession of nuclear capability and other sorts of advanced weaponry. Iran possesses all sorts of advanced weaponry, as you saw from the video. This scripture of 2 Esdras 15:30 has said that the Carmanians shall rage in wrath, and with great power shall they come. Right. The Iranians, aka the Carmanians, aka the Persians, shall rage in wrath, and with great power shall they come. Tensions are extremely high due to this current Israeli-American war with Iran. But if Iran was to get attacked or invaded by the West, that will automatically draw out the Russians to war. Remember that Russia is now providing unprecedented level of military aid and technical support to Iran. So any attack on Iran will definitely draw out the Russians to war. And we are no longer living in a time of peace but of war. The ancient Assyrians are not ruling today, but they were cruel and of Caucasian ancestry. Now, the modern day Assyrian is Esau, Edom, and that land of the Assyrians is in reference to America. But as soon as they implement the CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16, that third world war cometh quickly. Like they say, no holds barred. It shall come in full effect. Now, when it comes to that troublesome state of the small hats, they shall be the ones to draw out the Americans to that final third world war of utter destruction. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Right, the small hatters shall draw out the Americans to that final war. Let's begin in the scripture of Jeremiah 49 and 20, which says the following. Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that he had taken against Edom, and his purpose is that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The scripture has said, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And this represents the small hatters today. They shall be the ones to draw out the armies of Babylon the Great, aka America, to that final third world war of utter destruction. And it shall be a war based upon those arrows of mass destruction. They shall be utilized. No longer shall they be used as means of deterrence. So in other words, the least of the flock shall draw them out to that inevitable war of Armageddon, of Armageddon. But upon that final third world war that the least of the flock, small hatters, shall bring forth, that will be the end of Edom's reign. That shall bring about their demise. That third world war of destruction that's to come will end all Edomite rulership on earth. And when it comes to Esau, Edom, he is the wicked of the earth, according to the scripture of Malachi 1:4. Teman, on the other hand, is known for their wisdom and represents Germany today. The Temanites are the so-called Germans because they are the smartest out of the nation of Edom. But not even the wisdom of Teman can help the nation of Edom on what's to come. They cannot help their brothers on what's to come. There's another scripture to match this one. Let's go over to Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Jeremiah 50 and verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right. And the Russians shall also join in to make Babylon the Great desolate and without inhabitant. That is found upon Jeremiah 51 and verse 29. And the modern day Medes are the Russians in verse 28. But surely the least of the flock shall draw them out refers to the small hats in the land of Israel today. The so-called Israeli state will be the ones to draw out the Americans to that final and destructive Third World War. That Third World War will bring about the bitter end of Esau, Edom's rulership. But if Iran is attacked, Russia steps in under that Iranian-Russian Treaty of Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. And if Israel gets attacked, America steps in to assist. It's destined for Russia to lock horns with America. Those two are destined to fight it out in this horrific World War III to come. In the destructive World War III to come. And when it comes to these wars, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is the one that controls them. The Lord is a man of war, according to Exodus 15 and 3. And therefore, the Lord has covered all angles. The Lord is the one in charge. World War III is inevitable, but it's just as this scripture has said, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Right, the small hatters shall draw out the Americans to that inevitable war of utter destruction. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. The land that the small hats now inhabit and occupy shall also be destroyed in that besom of destruction, along with modern-day Babylon the Great. And Babylon the Great in these times represents America. But Babylon the Great shall not rebuild, but the land that the small hats now inhabit shall definitely rebuild. That is for certain. Also, the time approaches when the allies of America shall betray them and shall burn her with fire, according to the scripture of Revelation 17 and 16. So the Lord has covered all angles. Prophecy is playing out just as the scriptures have said when it comes to the Carmanians, aka the Iranians. The scripture has said that with great power shall they come. But with that being said, Ka'alallah Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS Ruwell. Blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity and honesty. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah. Shalom.